a shore family member. And what those fellows are doing is diverting water from Los Gatos Creek. So we thought at first it might have been a picture of the early flume, which used to be up in the mountains and ran down into Los Gatos. But it's very close to the creek, so we're not sure. But that's just it's fun to kind of imagine what that was like back in the 1870s. The next picture, some of you may recognize, is actually the Linden family. And the John, who is in the upper right-hand corner on the top step, was again an early settler. He came from the east in 1859. And James, his younger brother, they looked a lot alike, as you can see. The upper left-hand corner, kind of matching mustaches. He was actually, James was actually quite a Civil War hero. He was in a lot of the major battles, but survived. One thing that was interesting was that this picture was taken not long before they both died, and they died within a couple months of each other in 1912 from different causes. They were actually born in Canada, and all the history books say that they came from Vermont, and where Terry has her coffee company was actually built by John Linden, and it was called the Vermont Block. But the census information tells us that they were born in Canada. Their father was an illiterate Irish immigrant. But of course they came out here and did very well. The next picture is the home of John Linden. And this was called Linden Heights, and it was quite a home. It was built in 1886. It was completely of heart redwood, taken from the Santa Cruz Mountains. And this is now the site of Los Gatos Meadows. The next picture is in 1883, and if those folks were standing where they are today, they would be kind of out in front of Les Boulangeries, right about there. They're having an election, I'm not sure what, we don't know too much about it, except that the table and the people at the right were in favor of prohibition.
Is that you, Red Badgers?
And prohibition was a huge fight for about 30 years in Los Gatos. It was a very serious fight. So they're gathering signatures as they're standing there. The next picture is one of my favorite ones. This gentleman is named Lloyd Ledbetter Majors. And Lloyd was the Civil War veteran, and that's apparently to his lip. And the press at the time said that he was a hideous-looking man. I don't know about that. That's what it seems, but he did have an injury to his mouth. But Lloyd was a very interesting character. He was the mastermind of a murder in Los Gatos that was absolutely infamous. It was in the papers all over the country. And Lloyd was quite ambitious. He was actually a graduate lawyer. He was also I don't know why I laughed about that. He was also a preacher, and he was a serial arsonist. So he built... He built a number of buildings, both in San Jose, and then when they kicked him out of San Jose, he came over to Los Gatos. But he would build them and then file his insurance claim and then build another one. That's kind of how he got along. But the most interesting thing was he was quite an active temperance worker, but he owned the biggest saloon in Los Gatos. So I don't quite understand that one. But anyway, Lloyd decided he was building a hotel in Los Gatos on East or West Main Street, and didn't have enough money to finish it. So he thought what he would do is go get some gold from a couple, especially an old man who lived up in the mountains, not too far, just off of Black Creek Road. He apparently, it was known that he kept gold in his cabins, but Lloyd didn't want to do the dirty work himself, so he hired 2 accomplices. And on the left, you have John Showers. He was a local boy. He lived with his widowed mother, and he called himself the bad man from Bodie. And Joseph Jewell on the right was a recently arrived immigrant from England. He was a 5'4" kind of sandy-haired Englishman, soft-spoken, and a house painter. So anyway, Lloyd sent them off. They went up. The crime didn't work out as they thought, and they ended up torturing and murdering 2 men. And it was quite very scandalous. The people of Los Gatos, of course, were very upset. There had been a lot of crime in Los Gatos, a lot of murders. And so in the next picture, you can see that